my fellow readers. This is I, Dark Symphony 777, with a fan fiction reading. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, and leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story. So, the story I'm doing a reading of is Like a Puzzle Piece by Darth KVZN. Yeah, that's how I'm saying it. Yeah, I did it. It is a Gravity Troll in Infinity Train. Okay, 1 second. I'm actually kind of curious. What is this? Infinity Train. Infinity Train is an American animated comedy drama anthology television by Over Dennis, previous regular show. Okay. I had never heard of this. Oh, it's new. No wonder. Okay. I was kind of curious about what the hell this is, but now that I know, let's go. Why is okay. It's really no wonder that he ends up falling for Tulip Olsen. It happens quickly. The all too familiar feelings of a developing crush, honoring their namesake by making his freshman year college both utterly miserable and a dream come true. He already knows he's weak for redheads. When he can, mildly cringeworthy reminder aside, attest to that. But Tulip goes above and beyond, in proving irresistible for the freshman, moonlighting as a paranormal researcher. She got these huge dreams of becoming an indie game developer, a simultaneously wholesome and macro-based sense of humor, and perhaps most importantly for any of his potential romantic interests, a keen interest in supernatural phenomenon. She must have some kind of experience with this kind of thing, given how intently she listens to his history. I'm messing up this so bad. Given how intently she listens to his lengthy diatribes of cryptozoology and parapsychology, but also in how her gaze sometimes snaps to the side, like she's chasing shadows on the edges of her vision, and how she always ends up staring at nothing in particular for suspiciously long amounts of time. She also lacks a reflection. So there's that. Wait, what? She lacks a reflection. Is she a vampire? Is she a vampire? Is she like a poltergeist? These are questions I want to ask. It's not something he would have easily noticed, painfully shy as he usually is. He's grown out of his shell a lot since the Summer of Gnomes, Lumberjack Ghost, and Weirdmageddon. To be sure, but Dipper is still, at his core, an incredibly anxious young man. Especially when it comes to social situations. He has a hard time looking anyone but Mabel in the eyes. So not even Grunkle Stan? Nah, he's Stan. I don't think anyone would really want to look in his eyes for like longer than a minute, because then he would probably convince you to buy something from him. I couldn't resist. So it comes as no shock that Tulip is the one to point this haunting fact out to him. And it is kind of spooky. It's no trick of the light or elaborate prank, but a genuinely missing reflected image. He tries to take a picture and can only capture a mirrored image of himself and his shocked expression through the lens. When questioned, Tulip merely grins, shrugs, and says she hopes her reflection is still out there, taking in the sights. It's such a freaky answer. He's in love before he knows it. I'm guessing she's dead. Why else would this be angst? Why else would this be angst if not for the fact she's probably dead? Let's see. There was nothing on any of Great Uncle Ford's journals or his own works in progress. What the? Oh, okay. That could explain this particular phenomenon, and human science certainly can't account for Tulip's missing reflection. She's also not a vampire, however pale she may be. The redhead is not very forthcoming, so Dipter opts for patience. To let things, whether those things are as simple as an explanation to our curious condition, or as complicated as, them together, happen naturally. It pays off, almost overwhelmingly so. Tulip and Dipper hit it off like illegal fireworks and Grunkle Stan's old con at extra flammable matches. Wait, what? How do you make them extra flammable? How much phosphorus do you need? Explain. Okay, never mind. Patent pending. Guarantee the bird if you so much as look at them funny. Okay. Game nights with mutual friends turn to one-on-one playtest sessions of Tulip's game. Grabbing lunch turns to cooking out for each other, fries, read ramen, and grilled cheese sandwiches, but it's the thought that counts. And before long, the two become an item. In no time at all, she's late night researching Odysseys with him, and he's carrying onions for Tulip's snacking needs. Which is, yes, quite odd. Though he can't exactly speak here. The inside of his glasses frames are sleep mask is lined with unicorn hair. He spends most of his spring, summer, Thanksgiving, and winter breaks exploring the supernatural forests of Gravity Falls. He's got a tattoo of the ceiling circle that almost defeated Bill Cipher. They do actually officially date first, much of Mabel's gleeful shrieking. It's even better than either could have imagined. So it takes no time at all for them to go steady. He's always been fairly honest about his research. Thank the gods that people are so used to weird stuff by now. But he actually starts showing her the remnants of the original journals. Still singed by demonic flame. He talks to her about Manitors, zombies, and eventually about Bill himself. How he still has nightmares about the Dream Demon. How he found the eerie statue of him that definitely wasn't there before and couldn't destroy or move it by any means, earthly or otherwise. How Coco Stan occasionally blanks out because memories restored or not, destroying Bill still definitely and permanently damaged his mind. It's a bonding experience, harrowing but cathartic. To share these experiences with someone who didn't live through with them, Tulip says she thinks she loves him, and so she recuperates. She tells him about the train. Only her parents know about it, she says. She wouldn't have told them, but she had to explain 5 months of disappearance somehow, and they wouldn't have believed her, but lacking a reflection due to said reflection, being a sapient creature who decided not to live her days following Tulip through any and all reflective surfaces, she decided to pass by. It's a hell of a convincing argument. She tells him about the train, with its infinitely varied cars, and the desert hellscape it seemed to eternally march through. About the train's denizens who may or may not exist, but are so real to her. She excitedly tells him of Corginia, a mythical land of intelligent corgis. I'm sorry I'm stopping. It's just... I'm literally dumb. Is that a real thing? No. We're stopping this right. We're stopping the story right now. This is a real thing. Is it? Holy shit! It's an actual thing. Oh. Oh. I did not need. I did not know. Oh, first Bloodstained 2 with a corgi and a mech, and now... Wait. First it's Yamper from Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Yorgi Pokemon, and then Bloodstained 2 with a corgi and a mech. And now we have a land ruled by corgis. What's with the corgi mania going on? I guess corgis are now the new Chihuahua. Oh, where was I? Oh yeah, mythical land of intelligent corgis ruled by King Atticus, her loyal friend and companion. She talks about Sad One and Glad One, the two lovable halves of One, the train's conductor, the cat, and a morally dubious Wiles Mirror Tulip, and her quest for independence and self-discovery. She tells him about the glowing numbers, the bizarrely therapeutic but still incredibly dangerous nature of the train. She recounts the tragedy of the false conductor, of Amelia, who lost her soulmate and drowned in her grief, who, over the course of several decades, took over the train and disrupted its natural balance, all for a chance to use its seemingly endless creative potential to recreate the love of her life, growing bitter and violent in her unending failure. She tells him of Atticus' murder and subsequent transformation into a terrifying, soul-sucking abomination, and the quest to bring him back to his adorably fluffy self. Tulip spent 5 months in the train, and it changed her forever. Her indie game concept has shifted from a Space Invaders clone to a procedurally generated choose-your-own-adventure, point-and-click game set in a mysterious space station that can never be fully explored. That actually sounds like a pretty cool idea. I would actually play that. I mean, if given the chance, I would play that. Like, I'm just saying. She glances at every single mirror she comes across, just in case her reflection decides to pay her a visit. She can't look at a cockroach without going pale and becoming paralyzed with fear. That one's not that uncommon. Still, Dipper can relate. You can't go through hell on eternal rails or inside a localized nightmare dimension bubble and come out unscathed. Dipper can only conclude that he hopes that she does love him, because he's certain that he loves her. With this updated relationship comes the inevitable meeting of the extended family members. Dipper meets her parents, separately of course, having divorced shortly before her supernatural train ride. And Tulip meets Liz. He's both relieved and surprised to find out that they're so ordinary. Tulip, on the other hand, seems utterly baffled that the Elder Pines could have spawned Dipper and Mabel. Dipper assures her she'll understand once she visits Gravity Falls. And just like that, the possibility of Tulip traveling to the worldwide capital of weirdness is on the table. It only grows as they grow closer, and becomes an inevitable reality come next Thanksgiving break, which means Dipper has to seriously consider how Tulip will react to his favorite place in the world. Bill may be gone, but Gravity Falls has not become any less strange in the years since. If anything, without the Society of the Blind Eye to keep the bizarreness to a minimum, it's become something of a melting pot of oddities. With every passing year, the denizens of the forest have crept closer and closer to the town. Some, looking at you gnomes, grow so brazen as to roam around the streets in broad daylight. Schmabulok! Dipper loves it, but he can't help but grow a bit concerned about Tulip. Her contact with the magical side of the world was relatively brief and hasn't reoccurred at all since. He's a bit worried that exposing her to Gravity Falls will be too much, even for someone as open to it as she is. The bizarre locals' mind-bending phenomenon and often dangerous magical creatures took quite a bit getting used to, even for his paranormally obsessed 12-year-old self. He's worried he'll end up driving her away, even though he knows better. He should know better. So, they talk. Tulip is confused. She knows all these things already. She believed him the whole time. Why doubt him now? Why doubt her? The redhead isn't even disappointed or angry, yet Dipper couldn't help but feel a little shame at his questioning. He comes clean. He's never been the most confident. He can't help but overthink everything. Being brave in the face of the apocalypse doesn't seem to translate to the struggles of day-to-day life as much as he wishes it would. He says that being with her has been so incredible, he keeps expecting to wake up and realize it's been all a dream. It's all been a dream. Or at the very least, for her to realize what a future with a paranoid French researcher actually looks like. To her, Tulip says that sounds like the only future she wants to live. Dipper can't imagine his doubts will ever truly disappear. That's way behind any reassurance that he could have asked for. It's a promise, really. A prospect beyond their college years that he'll do absolutely anything to see become reality. It's hardly a fight, but they still kiss and make up. In a week's time, they're off, making the drive up to the Pacific Northwest, in Mr. Pine's aging Fiat Palio, which kind of struggles against the winds and sweeping rain as they get closer north. They listen to spooky podcasts the whole way there, to get in the mood. True crime, cryptic researchers, and straight-up ghost stories. And when they get there, when they cross the threshold Bill Cipher could not escape into the sleepy little town with the biggest secrets imaginable, they both feel it. Dipper figures that's how entering the Twilight Zone would feel like. Tulip just shivers and tells him, with a knowing exciting great, it's like deja vu. Like boarding the train for the first time. Once again, foreboding, terrifying, and exhilarating, all at the same time. The welcoming committee, of course, is huge and loud. Seuss and Melody, heavy with their first child, welcome them to the revamped Mystery Shack, on the porch of which the twin stands, Wendy, Candy, Grenda, Pacific, and, of course, a very excited, very shrieky Mabel await them all. Within seconds, the incoming couple is covered in glitter and confetti, as one is liable to be in the general vicinity of Mabel Pine. Wendy gives him a smug, knowing look the moment she sees Tulip, which promises endless teasing in his future. Gogo Stan punches his shoulder hard out, and berates him for keeping Tulip a secret from him. Who is she going to hear all the embarrassing puberty-age stories from, after all? Tulip reassures the Mr. Elder Pines that Mabel had that covered. She's unfortunately quite privy to the lammy dance already, which prompts a high five between Grunkle and Grandniece. Great Uncle Ford briefly greets and comments them on their relationship before narrowing his eyes at Tulip and asking her if she's aware of that her reflection is somehow missing, to which the redhead merely shrugs, saying she's used to it, instead impressing the old scientist. Instantly impressing the whole scientist. Candy and Greta mostly just banshee scream at Tulip about how cute she is. with which he wholeheartedly agrees. Pacifica compliments her gorgeous auburn hair, and Mabel, I'm sensing a glomp. Mabel hugs her, called it. Not the usual tackle hug, or a trap leading to a surprise tickle fight, but a genuine, affectionate, lasting way too long embrace. Surprised, Tulip asks her what's that for. His twin just says it's just, thanks. For loving her bro. Dipper wants to cry, but he's pretty sure his time with the Mantors, it would probably damage his tear ducts. That's kind of funny. It's okay though, Tulip covers for them both. As Wendy and Mabel help them get their luggage out of the car and make excellent use of the time for teasing purposes, he'll give them that. They watch Seuss go over the basics of life in the corner of Gravity Falls with Tulip. It's the usual, always check for hide-behinds before entering the shack, never verbally imply you might be willing to consider political marriage with no morality, and be sure to check your surroundings for stray zombies if you go out at night, because someone, not naming names, may or may not have cursed the shack's grounds with a spell that raises the honor. Damn you, Seuss! Tulip takes it in stride, and turns to him when the zombies came up, because, really, Tipper, necromancy? That's so cliche. Mabel shakes her head, amused. She can't imagine why he was so worried. Tulip fits into her odd little lives like a flipping puzzle piece. Watching his girlfriend eagerly trying to gift a star with the shack's classic pine tree logo knitted on it, he couldn't possibly agree more. So, okay, I'm gonna go back up here. That's the story. I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Because it's just a simple romance story. I really don't think the angst tag is needed. It does get a little angsty, but not enough that I could say it doesn't really need it. Honestly, maybe if the author kind of delved more into, their experiences just a little bit more in detail, then I can say easily, yeah, keep the angst. But right now, I honestly just think leave it a romance. I wouldn't change anything. I was surprised that there's a kingdom of corgis. I'm still kind of surprised about that. The whole part with the Mantors at the end kind of made me chuckle. I do think this is a good story. I think it's just a simple story. It's only like 2,000 words, like 2,200 words. Not bad. On a scale of 1 to 5, this one's kind of a weird one because I honestly think there's more the author actually could have done with this. But I'm also okay with it being as is. I'm not rating it any less than a 3 at the minimum. I'm thinking of leaving it at a 4 to 5. Mainly due to the fact I do like the idea that there's really the no dialogue thing. Because, there's some stories that kind of work better when there's no dialogue, like certain situations. And this is one of those cases that does work, but at the same time it kind of doesn't. That's where like the confusion comes with, because I think you can make an argument for that it be stronger with dialogue, but there's also an argument that the way it is right now is also very good. I think maybe, like, if I had to offer any advice, I would honestly like to see a full fleshed out version of the story. Like, let's just leave it as is, but then make a more fleshed out version, exploring their relationship and stuff like that, and going more into the situations behind why they're acting the way they are, and they fall in love and all that stuff. I would love to see that. As it is, I'm gonna rate it a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's good enough to be a 5. I know it's good enough to be way past the 3, but I don't think it's good enough to be a 5. I think maybe if it delved a little bit more into if they delved a little more into the backstory, and maybe I would give it a 5. But as is, 4 out of 5, that's pretty good. So that is Like a Puzzle Piece by Darth KVZN. This has been Dark Symphony 777. And